Welcome to the Spiritual Practices series. So we made this series because we want to be able to give you the tools necessary to build a devotional life, to continue to grow in your devotional life, and then have something that'll help you sustain a devotional life. So in Matthew 22, a teacher of the law came to Jesus and said, "What is the most important commandment?" And this is what Jesus said. In verse 37 of chapter 22, he said, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength. This is the first and greatest commandment." So if Jesus said that this is the first and greatest commandment, we want to be sure that we pay attention to that we take care of that command and that statement, and we say, what do we need to do to love God with our whole being? So in John 15, Jesus talked about abiding with him and remaining in him. So these spiritual practices and these disciplines are meant to help us remain in Jesus. One of the more frequent questions we ask as Christians is, how do I build a devotional life? How do I grow it? We might have a mentor that we look up to that has followed Jesus for years and we really admire, or maybe you're a brand new Christian and no one's ever taught you how to follow Jesus, how to pray, how to have a devotional life. So I'm really hoping that this series is going to be something that is valuable to you to help you along that journey. But it often surprises people when they realize that growing a devotional life isn't very easy. And oftentimes I ask, where is the discipline level? Like, what is your discipline like? And let me put it in this kind of terms. If you think of a marathon runner doesn't just decide that they want to go run 26 miles the next day. They can't do it. It has to be a life that is formed by exercise and by constant rest and training, eating well. And so it is a slow process of growth that causes them to be able to run the marathon. And so our spiritual life is very similar to that. We can't just open up the Bible and read the whole thing and think that we're going to have a sustainable devotional life. But we also can't just spottily find Jesus throughout the week on accident. We have to find him on purpose, and that's what these disciplines are for. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11 says, "No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. But later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it." Alex Rodriguez, the national training director, once said, "Discipline leads to desire, which leads to delight." When you first begin lifting weights, it really hurts. It's a discipline. You don't have the lifestyle, you don't have the rhythm, it hurts, and it's not enjoyable. But pretty soon, if you stay with that for a few weeks, maybe a few months, you begin to get the desire to want to go to work out because you feel healthy, you feel like you have more energy, you're liking the results you're seeing. And then pretty soon it leads to delight when you've set a goal like running a marathon or being able to lift a certain amount of weight. You finally hit that goal and it feels great, you have delight. Our devotional life is like that. At first, it's going to be really tough to get into the Bible, to get into prayer, to get into meditation. It's really tough to begin with. But if you stick with it, you begin to grow a desire. You begin to hear from God. You begin to feel that pull from the Holy Spirit to want to have that invitation into a relationship. And before you know it, you'll be in the delight of just having that devotion life that's constant and it's connected to God. You're abiding with him. So I want to give us 3 practical ways that we can build discipline into our life that's going to help us with our devotion life. The first one is to find a time and a place. So when I say that, I don't mean it in a legalistic sense, meaning you can never spend time with God anywhere else. But what I'm saying is when you're going to build a discipline, you need consistency. So if you have a time and a place that you're going to consistently, it's going to help you build that rhythm of being with God and the rhythm of being able to spend time, and whether it's in the evening or the night or midday or whatever, find that time and that place and guard it jealously. Make it a priority in the day. So don't give it up for something that's really menial, like I wanted to have a snack or I wanted an ice cream cone or something. But, obviously emergencies happen and there's grace for that. And God's not holding that over our head. But try to guard that time jealously, that time and that place with God. Number 2, you want to eliminate distractions. So I love, there's a pastor I listen to named Mark Sayers out of Australia, and he invites his church to win the day. And what he means by that is that he invites them to take their phone, their computer, their tablets, whatever they have, and put it on the other side of the house until you've spent time in devotion with God, because it eliminates distraction. How many times have we been, wanting to spend time with God? Maybe we're looking at the Bible on our cell phones or whatever, and a notification comes up on Facebook or a text message comes through or what have you. It's very easy to get distracted. But the poet Mary Oliver says, attention is the beginning of devotion. We adore what we give our attention to. We love what we give our attention to. Worship is focus. When you're focusing on something, that's how you worship. You turn your focus, all your attention towards that thing or person. Let's make the thing that we turn all of our focus to, all of our attention, especially during our devotion time, to God. And then number 3, this is very important. You want to start small, then add to it. Many well-intentioned Christians get fired up at a church service or a conference or what have you, and they want to just blaze through the Bible. They want to start in Genesis and read all the way through Revelation. And that's good. We want to get there. But if you try to just torch through the Bible without that sustained, disciplined life and that rhythm of discipline in your life, then you're going to end up burnt out. You're going to end up discouraged, and you might just give it up altogether. So it's kind of just like the marathon runner. You can't run 26 miles all at once, but maybe try jogging half a mile and then add to that week after week until eventually you can run the full 26 miles. It's like that with our devotion life. Maybe we can't spend 2 hours with God like our mentor, but maybe we can start with 5 minutes with God and then build upon that every week. 5 minutes of reading, maybe 5 minutes of prayer, continuing to grow upon that. We will get to that place where we have that full, thriving devotional life, but you have to build there and work there slow. So as the series goes along, we're going to talk about how to cultivate devotional reading, prayer, worship, different things like that. But we want to start with the discipline, because if we don't have discipline, we will never build into those things well. You think of a trellis in a garden is what the plants grow up on to support its weight. In order for our devotional life to ever have any kind of weight to it, we need that trellis of discipline to help lead us into that. So this week, why don't you pick a time, pick a place that you're going to spend with God on a regular basis. You're going to eliminate distractions. So whether that means taking the phone away or putting the computer, whatever that might be, eliminate the distractions, and then set some manageable goals that you can build upon. These aren't forever goals. We're not just always going to stay at 5 minutes with God, but we're going to start there and make some goals to grow upon that. So thanks so much for watching this video. I'm excited for us to continue to grow together through this series. I'm excited for us to be formed by these practices. But until then, stay safe, everybody, and we'll see you next time.